This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Moving right through the week, made it to Thursday morning here on WSM's Coffee, Country, and Cody. I'm Eric Markham alongside Eryn Cooper and Annie Nye. Some great Opry rewinds on the stage this morning, and you want to talk about an eclectic playlist. Always, you have the Grand Ole Opry as an eclectic playlist. Tommy Emmanuel with Michael Cleveland and Lauren Elena on the way this morning as we rewind to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Plus, an in-studio visit on our Assembly Food Hall stage here on WSM Radio with Sacha. We'll introduce you to her and her brand new music, and she'll perform live for us this morning.
Yes, coming to see us all the way from Canada. So excited for you guys to meet Miss Sacha. Also on the way, Willie Nelson has put out more than 100 albums. His 154th album on the way. All the details, the title of it, how many tracks that's coming, as well as one of our Opry stars finally joining the Music City Walk of Fame and how you can be a part of that special day. And a dose of nice nostalgia, a pouched drink that I loved growing up as a kid, is releasing a brand new magical flavor.
If you ever wonder what Willie Nelson is doing in his spare time, it's always songwriting, constantly songwriting. That's nearly 2 albums a year from Willie Nelson on WSM. I'm Eric Markham.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And welcome into the show, Eric Markham alongside Eryn Cooper and Annie Nye, as we've been calling ourselves the starting lineup this week, in for Bill Kelly, Charlie, and welcoming into our Assembly Food Hall guest stage, introducing to the WSM audience, Sacha. Welcome in.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So you are right now on the coveted Assembly Food Hall stage, which is right across the street from Ryman Auditorium. That wood cut from Ryman Auditorium stage wood between 1950 and 2012, steps away from Assembly Food Hall, which you have had experience at Assembly Food Hall.
Assembly Food Hall is like the staple place, I think, in town now. Assembly Food Hall is like a place where you can find good food and good music now. And I actually had an opportunity to host Sacha and Friends, a little songwriter night on the Assembly Food Hall stage. I don't know if it was exactly this one, but it was pretty fun.
It steps away from Ryman Auditorium, the pre-show place, right?
Yes.
That's where you go. You were just talking about whenever
Yes.
you've got friends in town and you're going downtown, you're going to see a show somewhere.
We're all going there because everybody has different preferences, right? So we're all going to make one stop. We're going to go there and we're going to see fantastic musicians like Sacha get us ready to wherever we're going to go next. It's fantastic.
And if you weren't introduced to Sacha there, 2 million fans have found your music online on a particular song, which we'll talk more about. So how did you get your entry into music?
Well, I grew up in a really small town, and my mom and my step-in dad had a band. So music has been a way of life from a young age. And we grew up just, in really rural areas, so farmland, agricultural. Not me on a farm specifically, but, one down the street. So music, country music, and all sorts of music has been ingrained into my being. So that's kind of my introduction to music through family.
Now, you've been coming to Nashville for a little while now, writing music and visiting. During one of your first times here, you were working with or staying with some sort of program that was specifically to help support Canadian songwriters and artists. She is from Canada, which is so cool that you came all the way down here to see us today. Talk about the experience of becoming introduced to Nashville, integrating yourself into the music scene here, and how you keep growing and becoming a part of it each time you visit.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, that's been so long since I first touched down in Nashville, and that's where I had my first co-writes and the experience of writing with really professional writers. I've been writing by myself for most of my years, but when you get introduced to co-writing and being around the greats and people that inspire you, it just helps you to develop as an artist and into your career. It's been pretty cool because when you get to town, everybody knows everybody, and I don't mean just friends. I mean oh yeah, I played for Johnny Cash, or oh yeah, I'm Roscoe Flatts banjo member, or it's everybody who's even in the music scene is just one step away. So it's pretty cool what's accessible to you in terms of growing as a musician and being around some of your most favorite acts.
What's fascinating is Nashville truly is a community. We recently had a conversation with somebody who asked, how is Nashville the way it is? So many other genres of music, everybody's fighting against each other for the next spot. But in Nashville, it's like the rising tide lifts all ships, more so within country music than just Nashville, because that's the same way in places like Texas. So how did your entry into country music and songwriting really land you in Nashville whenever you come to visit?
Well, I mean, songwriting, something that I've been doing, like I said, on my own, but even just finding a group of people
The group
that
of people,
you can
that's
share
it.
your story with. And that's the cool thing about Nashville is that, like, if you're saying if one person makes it, it's usually a group of people that make it or that rise together. So just finding my group of people that I can share my story with and get it out in the best way possible.
Yeah. Where are some of your go-to spots around Nashville to go see music?
Well, Food Assembly Hall. And I love the Bluebird Listening Room, Song Suffragettes. I've been a part of the lineup there. And where else do I like to go? I have been to the Grand Ole Opry, but my first time at the Grand Ole Opry was backstage. I haven't actually been to an actual show. It was backstage for supporting a friend. So those are a few of the places that I like to get around town.
That's
So
so cool.
walking down the Grand Ole Opry artist entrance, and I'm guessing that's the way you made your way in.
Literally.
When you walk through the halls of the Grand Ole Opry, because now people can do that. They can do a backstage tour as part of a VIP package. What are your thoughts when you walk through the hallways of the Opry?
It's wild. I think of the history. History of country music and all those people that inspired you. I think of like Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton and Patsy Cline, and that's a lot of the music that my mom would play, when I was younger. But and then I just think of how it's evolved and all the people that get the opportunity to share the stage or step into that circle today. And it's just, I don't know, I feel like I was starstruck a little bit and just dreaming of the opportunity that I might have maybe, hopefully one day, to step inside that circle.
Whenever we get the opportunity to visit with a country artist that's from Canada, I'm always so curious to know about, the take that your hometown or the people you grew up around have with country music in Canada versus country music here, and where, maybe they bleed together, where they differ. I know Boots and Hearts is a huge country music festival up there where a lot of artists from Nashville will go up and play. How does it all blend together, but also maybe stay a little separate for you?
Country music is massive in Canada. Canada is a wide open scale array terrain of just a lot of agricultural and farmland. So if you go west, like Calgary, it's called Texas North. It's ingrained in our fabric as Canadians. And I don't know if a lot of people know that, just around the world, but country music is a fabric of Canada. I think it might differ maybe in terms of the market. The market is huge across the border, and the opportunities seem a little bit more vast when you make it in down south, right? And then you have a place like Nashville where you get to really hone in your craft and your skill and become the best at your craft. So I think maybe that's the difference, might be the opportunity, how you can grow there, but we still have our communities, and we still have a very vast country music market.
Well, you talked about history earlier and how country music really has a rich history. You're part of history right now, being in the new WSM studio. We've been in here just over a year, and this was Roy Acuff's former home. He lived in this house for the final roughly 10 years or so of his life, and this was the living room. So you're a part of country music's living room, being on the plaza of the Grand Ole Opry. And coming up in just a little bit, Sacha, who is in studio with us, going to perform live. Right now, we're talking about a song called Hey Mom, I Made It. Tell me more about this song here in just a few minutes. This is WSM.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
Continuing in studio with our guest, Sacha, and we played a great song just before the break, Hey Mom, I Made It. And while that was playing in the studio, I don't know if anybody was taking a video, but she started singing, Hey Mom, I Made It. How about that?
Here she is.
I made it to WSM Studios.
You're here. So tell me about that song, because I think that's one of the biggest thing about artists is you always look ahead to your family to say, hey, I'm in this music thing, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm making it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the funny thing with Hey Mom, I Made It. This was a step forward to me being a little bit more vulnerable and pulling back the curtains to my story. And usually when you hear I made it, you think of the traditional markers of success, like, hey, I signed a record deal, or I'm sitting on the Assembly Food Hall stage that was cut out from the Ryman Auditorium, or you go to my Instagram, you'll see maybe the red carpet CMA or CMT red carpets and all the awesome things that Nashville is bringing about in my life. But for me, really, the story that I hope to get across, and that you would hear when, even just in the verses, is that I really don't come from a cookie cutter background. Again, small town, and then we moved from small town to a suburb, which is like a city in my eyes when you grow up in such a small town. And our family kind of had a little bit of a falling apart. Mom became a single mother of 4 kids, and tough time just kind of crept in, and it's kind of like my childhood. So there was a time where we were just completely out of hand, and my mom just kind of couldn't take it anymore. She's human. She had her own things and her own trauma, and we were left in a house that was pretty much abandoned with a sheriff's note on the door. I have a twin sister, so we're just kind of like sitting on a mattress in the living room floor, just figuring out where we're going, what we're doing at 17. So I had to go to work full time, and took up a lot of dark substances or paths, to get me through the times. But I made it, and I made it is more or less the fact that I'm here today, and we get to celebrate. My family's okay now. We're all good. Everybody's grand, better than we've ever been. Mom had to just take some time to figure herself out, because at a young age she had some stuff that she had to sort through. So we're really excited, and we're really happy and supportive for each other. I have 2 older brothers. They're excited. We're all doing well, and just working our way through our lives. But this is where I am today. Was
there a moment in time or a particular age where it became front of mind, where you're like, if I continue down this road, it's not going to go well, and I need to change? Funny thing is, I don't think so. I was just doing what I was doing, and I even had fun doing it too, to be honest. But I didn't realize it was probably a form of survival. It's just a matter of like a divine intervention that just stops you in your tracks because there's something greater for you. And I was fortunate enough to see that, and that was just the iceberg of it all. Something that happens probably in your late teens, early 20s, mid 20s is realizing that parents are humans too. They're doing life for the first time as well. And it sounds like you really experienced that very firsthand, and that's a really triumphant thing to go through, and also probably better for your relationship as a whole. The sooner you can realize, hey, parents can go through really tough things too, and they're not going to be perfect. That's really wonderful that you can see it with such clarity. Yeah. I think like what would have happened if I had kids at that age, because my mom was really young when she started having kids too. So I don't know how I would be, but just extending that grace for, one another is really important. Yeah. Sacha in studio with us, and I noticed that the moment that you walked in, Eryn Cooper and I somehow decided to match denim this morning. The first thing you guys started talking about was fashion, right? The jackets, the jewelry. Eryn, you're wearing fringe today. Yep. So how did y'all connect what was the first thing that you noticed as she was wearing? I first noticed her jacket because it's so cool. Then her shades just on her t-shirt. She is so stylish. And we were talking about Zara, which we both shop at. They have a store at the Green Hills Mall here in Nashville, but also they have an online store. We're a big fan of their shoes too. Their shoes are great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't wear denim today, because I was this close. Well, you got the denim. I was going to wear the jacket. So. Sacha is our guest. She brought along a guitar player, and they're going to feature brand new music in studio. This is called "Woman in the Mirror." Tell me about this song. "Woman in the Mirror." This is actually going to be my title track for my album that's coming out in a few weeks, months. Been working on this for a while. "Woman in the Mirror" came out in my spirit, like maybe last year winter, sitting here in Nashville, and just having some feelings of anxiety and things that I have to confront within myself. And this song is more or less a song of kind of self-freedom, and which will only come when you confront those things that are hindering your potential, whether it's an insecurity, whether it's lies that you believed, whether it's an experience or an internal dialogue that's becoming a stronghold in your mind, and releasing yourself to be the person that is in there waiting to come out. But it's going to take some elbow grease and some hard work. Sacha and the WSM Simply Superior Studio.
Stunning.
In
Oh my
studio
gosh.
performance, Sacha on this Assembly Food Hall stage inside the WSM studio. Yes, just an incredible song. Nicely
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel very inspired and just like lighter this morning having you here with us. You are just such a light, and I've been waiting to meet you for a while. So
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here with us today.
I'm glad to be here.
I noticed in your voice too, you have what sounds like a little bit of French in there, being from Canada. And in the South, when you hear that, immediately you head towards Louisiana. That's the Cajun sound that I immediately lean into. So remind me, what part of Canada are you from?
Ontario, rural Ontario. However, I was born in Montreal, but which is the French, well, I guess it's capital or province of Canada. But I was like 3 years old when I moved away, so.
Still there.
I
So
usually
just
get
a
the
twang.
Newfie. I usually get Newfie, but French is good.
WSM Sacha joins us on Coffee, Country, and Cody. More coming up on WSM Radio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
WSM's Coffee, Country, and Cody. Hey, I'm Eric Markham alongside Eryn Cooper and Annie Nye, talking all things entertainment. And we were doing the math since we teased a little bit earlier. Willie Nelson, he's going to be 92 next month in April. So yeah, still releasing new music, including what you said, his 154th album.
Yes, his 154th album overall. It will be his 77th studio album. There is a difference. So that's pretty incredible. And the title of this album, Oh, What a Beautiful World. And yesterday, he shared that title track, which is actually a duet with fellow Texas country legend, Rodney Crowell. We have a little snippet of the new song for you right here.
Oh, what a beautiful world. We build our hopes up high, perchance to someday fly across a clear blue sky to someplace new.
Now, get this. Willie Nelson, he's a longtime Rodney Crowell fan. And in fact, this new album is made up of songs that Crowell has written over the last 50 years. He's so kind to share them with Willie. And the album also includes songs that are made famous by artists like Jerry Jeff Walker and Bob Seger. And Crowell originally wrote that title track that you just heard for his 2014 album. So lots of collaboration on this major 154 album for Willie Nelson. The album as a whole, it will be 12 tracks, and it will be out on April 25th, so you don't have to wait too long, just about 6 weeks.
I was having a conversation one day with Buddy Cannon, who is a songwriter and producer, done a lot with Kenny Chesney and Willie Nelson over the years, and whenever he songwrites with Willie, it's not a lot of like a writer's retreat where they get together and spend a weekend together. A lot of it is derived from just text messages back and forth. They keep a thread going of ideas, thoughts, conversations, and that's how I imagine Willie does. Probably just write it down on a piece of paper and eventually text it to Buddy, and hopefully that eventually comes to fruition. But I can imagine Rodney having his entire well of songs that he has written over the years. Combining that with Willie Nelson's well of songs, you can come out with something incredible, like they did right there of Oh, What a Beautiful World.
I'm surprised it's actually only going to be 12 tracks, to your point. It could probably be 57 songs.
Yeah.
They have so many.
I can imagine there's stories about people who sort of talk about the first song that they ever wrote, if they still have that in their songwriting canon, if you will, to eventually make light of day. But a lot of them are like, no, I'll never touch that first song again. I can imagine if you've gotten to the latest song between Rodney and Willie, you're right. It probably could be a double or triple album.
Totally. All right. Well, Opry star Luke Combs, he's finally receiving a big honor that he's been waiting on for right here in Music City. He is going to have a star on the Music City Walk of Fame. That is happening on Thursday, March 20th, so just about a week from right now. The ceremony, it's going to be at 12:30 in the afternoon at the Walk of Fame Park, which is right across from the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. You're invited to attend. It's free, and This was actually supposed to go down back in October 30th to be exact, when our very own Bill Cody and Colin Reed received stars on the Music City Walk of Fame, along with Jimmy Buffett and the legendary quartet, the Fairfield Four. And our very own Kelly Sutton hosted this ceremony back in October. Luke wasn't able to make it because he was being a humanitarian, supporting those that had suffered many losses in the hurricanes in the Carolinas.
So what was fun about this surprise of Bill Cody getting his star in the Music City Walk of Fame is that he has been the one to host that ever since the very first star was inducted on the Walk of Fame. So we had to keep it a surprise and tell Kelly, who is co-host to Bill Cody and Coffee Country and Cody, of course, as the usual cast. Hey, Kelly, we're going to make a surprise where you're going to tell Bill you're going to host it this year and bury the lead that Bill was getting his own star in the Music City Walk of Fame. And very special to include our own very own CEO, Colin Reed, as well. So very fun from the Opry Entertainment Group world, fellow Opry star Luke Combs, and of course, the namesake to the new restaurant and bar downtown Nashville, Category 10.
Yes, I think he'll have to go have a little after party on March 20th or when he is done. He'll also be the 109th star that it's going to be on that Music City Walk of Fame.
I think we'll need that after party on the 20th because it's the day after the big Opry 100 NBC Peacock special where so many incredible artists will be in Nashville on the Grand Ole Opry stage and performances from Ryman Auditorium as well. So it's going to be great. A lot of people in town. Let's make it more than likely Blake Shelton hosting the NBC special. We'll be battling back and forth on who's going to have the official after party for that show and where people will carry over to Category 10 or Ole Red in downtown.
Yeah, half the people at the show will have a bar downtown to go to. So we'll just have to bebop around, I guess.
Bebop around. There we go.
All right. A little bit of nostalgia for you real quick. I grew up with this, so maybe you, your kids, or your grandkids love a good Capri Sun. Those are those pouched sort of fruity juice drinks. I loved them as a kid. There was nothing better than going to lunch at school and pulling one of these out of your lunchbox. Now, the fan favorite juice pouch brand announced a new cherry moon punch flavor. Don't know what the moon tastes like, but I guess we're about to find out. And the pouches glow in the dark. You just got to set it in the light for a little bit, and then you go into a dark place, or you wait till it's nighttime, and you're going to see all phases of the moon on these pouches. So you can learn about the moon while you're enjoying a delicious juice snack. These are going to be available very soon, I think through September, but you can also snag a free box if you or somebody you know uses the Snapchat app. You're going to be able to scan something when you open that app, and you can get a free box sent to you.
We've been talking about conspiracy theories. If you've been on the radio side, I think there's a conspiracy between the kids and Capri Sun on how to make the kids realize and bring it front of mind that they need a Capri Sun, and it's by making it glow in the dark. So it's the first thing that you see when you open the refrigerator. Luckily, me as dad, maybe I haven't had a Capri Sun in 20, 25 years, but now I get the benefit when kids don't finish it to finish their Capri Sun. So I'll take it. It's a win.
I loved the orange Capri Sun most of all. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but I do know there was a cherry flavor. Annie, I don't know if you had a favorite flavor. I could not really dig the cherry
I liked
one.
the Capri Sun, the Roarin'. Like they had
Roarin' Waters.
The Roarin' Waters.
You unlocked a memory for me.
And they had the kayaking people, and they had all the sporty people. I wasn't really a sporty kid, but for some reason those were my favorite Capri Suns.
Has that one been discontinued?
I didn't even know that they were still making them, so maybe they're all gonna make a big comeback. The Roaring Waters, though, they're good. They had like a kiwi, they had a strawberry kiwi one. They had like more tropical, and they had blended flavors. And I had a really, good palate at the age of 6.
Are Squeeze-Its still a thing?
No,
Are they around?
Never
no?
heard.
Never heard
You've
of
never
that.
heard of a Squeeze-It?
No, but we've really learned a lot about you this week.
What's that?
I thought we were closer in age.
So many references that we're making, Annie and I are making that Eric
does not know.
It's on the fringe of understanding. It's okay. It's okay.
The other day we were talking and I said, what was it? Facebook wasn't around when I was in high school. And I think both of you had eye contact for just a second. And it really does separate, like as a generational separation. Whenever I was in elementary school, the internet was really just becoming a thing. You had dial-up computers. You had the one computer. You actually had a computer room.
Yeah, we had that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
We had
a computer
that.
room.
We had computer room. Laptops didn't exist yet. Mm-hmm. We're right there. Like we're so close.
It's close.
But there's We should make one of those, like a pie chart. No, the
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
And on that note, as our Jeff Roberts is telling us to wrap this segment, he put in our chat, "We're old, Eric."
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And the Thursday show, we're within the final hour of WSM's Coffee, Country, and Cody. I'm Eric Markham, alongside Eryn Cooper and Annie Nye, in as I don't know if you guys consider yourselves, I've dubbed ourselves the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again.
Annie's usually here, but I feel like, again, this is kind of like third string. But hey, guys, it's going great.
Annie is where Charlie usually is, and you're settling in over there, yeah?
I feel so good over here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I feel great over here pushing buttons. I feel like I'm doing everything correctly as I stop that.
Yeah. It's not exactly. I mean, we run the show essentially. When you walk in,
we run the world, girls.
It's it. When you walk into the studio and you do radio, it's on your shoulders to deliver something fun. Which you get a whole new respect in for what Bill, Kelly, Charlie, and Annie do every single morning. Mm-hmm. And people have asked if we've gotten into a groove. And my first thought was this morning when I walked into the studio and saw that you and I were both wearing denim, you with fringe. We have got to be in sync at this point, right?
Oh, yes. And I said just before we came back, just in time for us to only have to do this one more time tomorrow, right, and then not do it maybe ever again. But that's okay. That's how it goes. It's fine.
I decided this morning to rock my I'm a Gene and Willie collection
in
collaboration with the Grand Ole Opry retail shop. It is Hot Dog, I Love the Grand Ole Opry underneath the jean jacket. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, Miss Megan Maroney, she has accomplished something that is typically kind of rare for a country artist. She is now on the cover of Rolling Stone. Yes, she will be on the April edition of Rolling Stone, and she's being dubbed the Gen Z country queen we need. I'm here for it. Now, one of her favorite people and tour mate, Kenny Chesney, has some wonderful things to say about her in this article. She's song-oriented. She couldn't care less about being a celebrity. She cares what her music means to people and making sure that they get the very best of everything that she does. Wow, that's some really high praise from Kenny Chesney. The article also reveals Megan's new tour bus, which is complete with electric doors, a walk-in closet. Wow.
A walk-in closet on a bus?
On a bus, and a fireplace-esque heater. I think it'd be a little hard and dangerous to have an actual fireplace on a tour bus, but there's a heater that looks like one, which is still pretty cool. The article also delves into her past as a successful influencer. She was doing that more in between college and now. That eventually led her to getting offers from 18 different labels before she decided to sign with Sony. Megan says that she's worked her behind off. I censored that a little bit. But I will say the positive things have happened quicker than I expected them to. And that's any artist's dream when you come to Nashville, is for, they say it's a 10-year town. Didn't take quite that long for Miss Megan, and we're very proud of her.
Well, good for her. And getting high praise from Kenny Chesney, who I know is a Tennessee Vols fan. And she's crossed over being a Georgia fan. She's Georgia, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, from Athens.
Yes, she always tells me go Dogs, and I have to give her a Roll Tide right back. But
and
okay.
One of the first songs I remember her coming out with was wearing Tennessee Orange.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's in the mix of the SEC.
Yes, lots of you got two kind of stances there. All the SEC teams are technically rivals, but a lot of people have some hate against the SEC because we're so good. So you also got to stick together in the end. Okay. Now, also in this Rolling Stone article, I will touch on, there's been some rumors that maybe she and Riley Green have had something going on, right? Maybe because they were spotted not together, but in the same vacation spot during the same time. And in the article, she says it's one of those things where if you know someone on a small island, you're like, oh, you're here too. So it was fun. But just because we're hanging out doesn't mean we're romantically dating. So she says they're not together. They just happen to be in the same place at the same time.
AKA Charlie Matos and Kelly Sutton at Disney at the same time.
Yes. I love how they are at the same theme parks for the same occasion. They will not overlap at all, though. They compared schedules, never hanging out the whole time.
So don't get the rumors swirling.
No.
They did show up with their families separately also. I might add that too. Yeah.
All right. And also, real quick, our very own Zach Bennett. He's your Opry warm-up show host on Saturdays before the Opry. He has his own stuff going on here at WSM. He's such a hard worker and such an incredible game show player because Zach Bennett will be joining Meredith Vieira on the CW May 6th at 8:30 in the morning. He will be on 25 Words or Less. That's all I'm allowed to tell you. I can't tell you anything else. He signed an NDA.
Ooh, the non-disclosure agreement.
So
what is? Tell me about 25 Words or Less. Have you ever played that game?
I wish I could tell you about this game. Zach Bennett will have to tell us more.
All right, we'll give you an update tomorrow's Coffee Country and Cody. What else is going on out there into the world? Well, of course, Opry Country Classics back center stage tonight.
Yep.
We've had shows all week. We took the Opry to the Ryman Auditorium at the Mother Church of Country Music for the Tuesday show, and lucky for me, with spring break going on, I got to be behind the podium for the very first time, so I enjoyed that. But Larry, Steve, and Rudy as part of tonight's Opry Country Classics, and you have that lineup?
I do. Also joining the Gatlin brothers tonight, Opry star Crystal Gale, Jamie O'Neill, the Swan brothers, and Jake Worthington is back, which is really cool. The last time he came, he brought his brand new baby out on stage with him with his wife.
WSM's Coffee, Country, and Cody. I'm Eric Markham alongside Eryn Cooper and Annie Nye.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Eric Markham, Eryn Cooper, Annie Nye with you here this week on WSM's Coffee Country and Cody. And if you were with us early this morning, we were talking about conspiracy theories, which included avocados being in oversupply and expensive, supply and demand, how that's a conspiracy. We talked about snowflakes, how Annie doesn't believe that, or you do believe that there are snowflakes that match. You don't believe that no two snowflakes have ever been the same.
I don't yes, I believe that there are snowflakes that must be the same shape.
Yeah, kind of like people and doppelgangers.
Correct.
You see people that look similar even though they're not genetically related.
Yes.
Right. So,
and there's record of every person, pretty much.
Record.
But there's, for the most part, I don't know everything.
Pretty
but
sure there's several million people that
Right.
existed that we have no record of. But.
Sure. But you know what I mean.
and recently the Loch Ness Monster resurfacing, and that's been a conspiracy theory for decades, where it originally came up and then there was the grainy black and white snapped photo, and then now another person went out there and resurfaced a photo, which could look like an overlarged anaconda snake, which wouldn't be necessarily in its native land in Scotland, in Loch Ness in Scotland. So where do we stand? Where's the update now that we've been able to think about it? Are we still in agreement that the Loch Ness Monster still exists?
I say, why not believe in the Loch Ness Monster? It's not doing anything to us.
Yeah, you're not
You know
really
what I mean?
harming anything.
Bigfoot, scary. Loch Ness Monster, swims. Scary, but don't go in the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's been the recent developments where people have been in their kayaks or boats, and whales have jumped out of the water.
And swallowed them and spit them out. Have you heard?
Yes,
I have seen that.
The kayaker story.
Oh my gosh.
Nessie just pokes head up,
Boop, boop.
gets a photo,
Right.
that back down.
She doesn't do anything wrong.
Right.
She's an influencer. She just wants her photo taken every once in a
Right.
while.
Because there hasn't. It's not like the Bermuda Triangle where people go into Loch Ness in Scotland and disappear. Right. You don't have those stories.
She hasn't wronged us.
It's not Jaws type of theme.
Correct.
Yeah. So let Nessie exist. And where we stand, so we talk snowflakes, there's the Loch Ness Monster, and avocados.
I do want to reiterate the disclaimer that this could be an outdated theory. I first became privy to the overabundance and overpricing of avocados probably about 10 years ago, maybe even longer. Maybe that sorted itself out, but I don't know. I don't think we should. If there is still an overabundance of avocados, my apologies to my avocado farmers listening right now if I'm getting my facts wrong. I don't think we should be paying extra for something that is overabundant and that you're trying to get rid of because they go bad so fast.
Right. So now everybody out there is up to speed on the things we were talking about first thing this morning. That's top of mind for the Eric, Annie, Eryn mind on Coffee Country and Cody on a Thursday morning. Right. But you had another conspiracy theory, am I right?
Another conspiracy theory? Oh, I talked about it. The Capri Sun.
The Capri Suns.
Why
Yes.
it's the cherry moon flavor is the new flavor, because there's going to be a blood moon lunar eclipse. I don't know why I'm doing this because it's a very real thing that National Geographic posted about, but I think that's maybe why they selected that to be the new flavor. Blood moon, cherries are red, so makes sense to me.
All right, so Coffee, Country, and Cody, Eric Markham, Eryn Cooper, Annie Nye, heading to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. You have tonight's Opry Country Classics lineup ready to go with Larry, Steve, and Rudy, who are your typical hosts, back in action tonight. This is at the Grand Ole Opry House.
Yes, along with Crystal Gale, Jamie O'Neill, the Swan Brothers, and Jake Worthington is going to be back to see us tonight at 7. You can listen on WSMRadio.com. If you're in Nashville, you can still snag tickets at the box office about 20 steps from where we're sitting, right here on the Opry Plaza.
Then back at it again Saturday night. We take a little bit of a break because everybody is going to be focusing on our Wednesday NBC Peacock Opry A Live Celebration Special. Tune in. Locally, it's Channel 4. WSMV for NBC will be carrying that, or you can stream it anywhere on Peacock as well. But this entire house is going to be hopping with people. We're going to make the studio sort of a house party. There's so many people coming, there's almost no space to put everybody. So we're excited for all the things that are coming for this coming week in the NBC special.
All the Opry stars in the house. It's what Mr. Roy would have wanted.
Absolutely. Country music's living room is what we consider the Simply Superior Studio inside the Roy Acuff House on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza inside the Springer Mountain Farms Acuff House. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody. I'm Eric Markham. Music now from Josh Ross.